I was exhausted and struggling to stay awake, but I couldn't go to bed until I'd finished my biology report. It was too important to me. I put a bar of chocolate on my desk and I promised to reward myself with a peach for each paragraph, but I couldn't help myself and I ate it all at once. Hi, I'm Christina. I've got a terrible sweet tooth. My parents were happy about my achievements at school, so they let me drink as much soda and eat as much ice cream and chocolate as I wanted. Yummy. Unsurprisingly, by the time I turned 16, I had gained a lot of weight. But so what? It didn't bother me. My boyfriend Austin liked me for the way I was. Austin and I had been friends since elementary school. He was shy and awkward when he transferred into our class. I sat down next to him and helped him get used to the new school. We'd been inseparable ever since. After a while, he asked me to go out. Wow, I agreed and I wasn't disappointed. Austin grew into a very handsome guy. All the girls were crazy about him, but hands off because he's mine. However, recently my boyfriend had been growing distant. For example, whenever I invited him to a picnic, he would say, "Sorry, Christina, but I'm going roller skating with my friends." I would invite you, but you don't like sports, do you? And damn right I didn't. I hated gym class, so I didn't mind. Then, one day, I made his favorite chocolate cupcakes and brought them to school to surprise him. Guess who? Jill? Oh, it's you, Christina. That pissed me off. Why'd he call me by another girl's name? But Austin said he was just messing with me and he'd immediately recognized me. But then he didn't sit next to me in the dining room because, according to him, it was too bright in there. What was up with him? I was so frustrated I ate all the cupcakes myself. At that moment, Adrian was passing by. He snorted. Can't you see that your boyfriend is ashamed of you? Adrian was the star of the school volleyball team and also did horse riding. He considered himself an amazing athlete and had very high opinions of himself. Mind your own business. Austin isn't like that. You're just too afraid to face the truth. I got mad, so I decided to prove it was complete nonsense. So the next time Austin was leaving to hang out with his friends, I insisted that I come too. Well, okay. They were roller skating in an extreme park. I tried to join them and I almost fell over. I felt like a newborn deer. My legs were wobbly and I immediately started wheezing. Austin told me to sit on a swing and rest up. He helped me to get there and I sat down. Ow! The swing cracked and broke and I fell to the ground. Oops. I wanted to laugh it off. That could have happened to anyone, right? But then I noticed that Austin's friends were laughing. My boyfriend turned red like a tomato. You look like a huge jelly. Lose some weight if you want to be with me. For now, we're done. He stormed away and I was left sitting on the ground. I was gutted. I didn't leave my room for the next several days and I just ate my sadness away. But soon, I got tired of it. I wasn't a jelly, I was tough. So I threw out all the candy and I promised myself I would lose weight and get Austin back. You will be mine. It was the beginning of the summer holidays, so I had plenty of time to get in shape. I tried a bunch of popular diets, installed some apps for losing weight, and did all kinds of sports. Come on, go away, chubby cheeks. A couple of weeks of hard work and there was still no miracle. No matter how hard I tried, I was still fat. Moreover, my parents were worried about all the strict diets, saying they weren't good for my health. So they were constantly bringing me snacks. One day, I couldn't stand it any longer and I snapped. I give up. I'll never lose weight. Whatever. Come to me, bun. That night, I was woken up by a sharp pain in my side. I had a fever and I felt so weak I couldn't get out of bed. I got scared and I called for my parents, who then called a doctor. He examined me and said I had appendicitis. I was immediately hospitalized and I underwent surgery. I later found out that the surgery was a very tough one because of my weight. I had to spend a lot of time recovering in the hospital. The doctors put me on a therapeutic diet. Jeez, these were not the holidays of my dreams. And the whole time I was in a terrible mood. I kept seeing photos of Austin on my feed on top of everything else. He was visiting his grandmother in Italy and posting pictures of himself plus his new friends having a great time in restaurants. That traitor! While he was having fun, I was choking down hospital food and doing physical therapy. But soon, I realized that my pajamas were too big for me. Can you imagine? I had actually finally started to lose weight! When I was discharged, I tried to keep eating and exercising just like I had in the hospital. And by the time the new year started, voila! I had become the best version of myself. I bought new clothes because now I look like I was wearing a tent in my old ones. I went to school feeling like Miss Universe. The boys were looking at me with admiration, and the girls with envy. Adrian sat down on the edge of my desk and winked at me. "You look great, Chris. How'd you lose so much weight?" Ugh, what a jerk. He was only hitting on me because I'd gotten thin. I didn't want to admit that I'd lost weight so quickly because I was hospitalized. So I told him I worked out a lot and followed a strict diet. Wow, breaking up with Austin was so good for you. Let's go horseback riding. Perhaps another me in a parallel universe would say yes, but I'm saying no. At that moment, Austin walked into the classroom. I was worried about his reaction. After all, he'd promised we would get back together if I had lost weight. However, Austin spent a carefree summer eating delicious foods in Italy, and it showed. He had chubby cheeks and a tummy now. But I didn't care about that. Pinch me. Christina, is that you? I worked really hard so we could be together again. Do you like me more now? You're gorgeous. Adrian snorted sarcastically and called Austin shallow. As if he was one to talk. Austin asked me out on a date. The second chapter of our relationship began. Now, we could do so many of the things that I used to miss out on because of my weight. For example, now I felt so much more confident roller skating. Whee! I want to go faster! But Austin was having a hard time doing something that he used to like so much. He often stopped to catch his breath. Slow down, Chris. These days, my boyfriend looked like a big old teddy bear. And I didn't mind. In the meantime, Adrian kept hitting on me, and it was getting annoying. One day, I caught him trying to put Katy Perry concert tickets in my locker. Dude, stop! Just forget about it, I'm not gonna date you! Life was wonderful. Everyone was asking me for advice on working out and proper nutrition. I pretended that I knew what I was talking about and told them about the methods that I'd read on the internet. I probably should have just told them the truth about the hospital, but I would have stopped being so popular. I thought Austin and I were doing great, but then my boyfriend started acting weird. He was always texting someone and refused to post any photos of us together. And one day, I saw him buying women's perfume. He claimed it was a gift for his mom. It just all seemed really fishy, so I decided to get to the bottom of it. I put on my roller skates and I hid in the bushes near his house. And soon, he left, and I sneakily followed him. Austin came up to a girl sitting on a bench, kissed her, and gave her the perfume he'd bought. Jill, I'm sorry we haven't seen much of each other lately. My heart sank. I couldn't believe my boyfriend was cheating on me. Tears stung my eyes. It really got to me. I left without even making a scene. I skated away from that traitor as fast as I could, crying like a frickin' baby. I couldn't even see where I was going through all my tears. And bam! I crashed into some guy and knocked him down. We fell on the grass. I landed on top of the stranger and wasn't hurt. However, the boy groaned. Ow! Christina, you're not very graceful. I rubbed my eyes and I realized I was lying on top of Adrian. He helped me up and asked me why I was crying. I told him all about Austin cheating on me. I knew it! What a jerk. Chris, there's something else you should know about too. Remember that time you fell off the swing? I doubt I'll ever forget that. Austin set it all up. I saw him messing with the swing. It seemed odd, so I watched him from afar. And then I saw him lead you to the swing and sit you down. I couldn't believe it. So that hadn't been an accident? I should have told you about it right away, but I didn't want to be a snitch. I decided I would show you that he didn't deserve you instead, but then the holidays began and I didn't see you for months. Well, better late than never. Adrian walked me home and we chatted a little more. It cheered me up a bit, but when I was left alone again, I started crying. The next morning, Austin was acting like nothing had happened. I told him that I knew everything. You can stop pretending now. Austin was stunned, but then he calmly said he was glad I'd found out the truth. Your weight actually had nothing to do with it. I started dating Jill a long time ago, but I never had the courage to tell you the truth. So I broke the swing to have an excuse to break up with you. I was sure you would never be able to lose the weight. But when I saw how much you changed, I knew I had to keep my word. That's why I started dating you again, even though I still really like Jill. I'm sorry. Austin looked so sad and guilty. I couldn't bear it, so I just forgave him. We talked and decided we were better off as friends. I focused on studying because I didn't want to wallow in my misery. Adrian was good at sports, but not so much at anything else. Also, he wasn't as much of a bastard as I thought, so I decided to help him improve his academic performance. We ended up spending more time together. At first, we were just studying, but then we also went roller skating and horseback riding. And soon after that, we became an item. Austin was doing great too. He was openly dating Jill. However, he couldn't get back into shape and just kept getting fatter. I really liked Adrian, but it wasn't like I could just turn off liking my ex-boyfriend either. One day, I heard Austin arguing with Jill. She was saying she was breaking up with him because of his weight. Well, hey, that's some karma. Imagine my surprise when he came up to me the next day with a bouquet of marmalade worms. Christina, please come back to me. The nerve of him. As soon as his precious little Jill broke up with him, he came crawling back to me. It made my blood boil, so I decided I would teach him a lesson. Yeah, okay. As soon as you lose weight, we can start dating again. I knew that wasn't gonna happen, but I thought I'd give him a taste of his own medicine. Spring break soon arrived. Adrian and I had a great time. We went on new adventures every single day. But then one day, Austin called me and said that he'd injured his back while exercising and was now on bed rest. He asked me to visit him sometime because he was dying of boredom. No one's here to take care of me because my parents are spending their vacation in the Maldives. I immediately rushed to Austin. That poor guy. I felt guilty because it was my fault he was going to the gym and got injured. I visited him every day and I brought him his favorite sweets to cheer him up. Let me fluff the pillow for you. Are you comfortable? Thank you, Christina. You're a miracle worker. I put a bag of takeout in front of him and I was about to leave. But to my surprise, Austin asked me to stay. Could you stay a bit longer? I don't want to be alone. I feel so helpless. I can't even stand up by myself. He looked at me with such huge, tearful eyes and reminded me it was my fault he'd been working out so much. So I really had no choice but to agree. I called Adrian and I canceled our plans. Austin and I spent the whole evening watching TV shows and eating fast food. The same thing happened the next day. I spent more and more time with my ex-boyfriend. We played video games, watched movies, and ate junk food. Of course, I was starting to gain weight again. Adrian was mad that I was constantly hanging out with Austin. I can't do this anymore. You have to choose one of us. Do you want to date him? How could you be so selfish? Austin got injured and needs help. I see you made your choice a long time ago. He looked disappointed as he left, and I went back to Austin. We'd grown really close again lately. Maybe our bodies weren't perfect, but we really felt comfortable with each other. I bought pizza and ice cream, and I headed to Austin's place. I got there much earlier than usual. The first thing I noticed was the sound of a guitar. I went into the living room and I froze. Austin was jumping around on the couch playing Guitar Hero. Ah, yeah, I'm a rock star. I live for the applause. He jumped up, stuck the landing, and only then noticed me. He nearly jumped out of his skin and tried to come up with excuses. Christy? The thing is, I suddenly felt better. You helped me recover faster. Stop lying. Were you ever even hurt? You lied to me again. He suddenly frowned and said that I had lied to everyone about how I'd lost my weight too. How did he even know about that? I really did go to the gym for you. I lifted too much weight and I hurt my back, so then I had to go to the hospital. There was a folder named after you on the doctor's computer, and I opened it while I was out. That's how I found out you lost your weight thanks to a long rehabilitation in the hospital, not exercising. Austin said that he'd come up with a plan after that. He was too lazy to work hard, so he'd pretended to be sick so I'd feel guilty and start dating him again. It finally dawned on me what a piece of work he was. I said we were done. I would never even look in his direction again. I had learned my lesson. I was so ashamed of how I'd treated Adrian, I didn't know if he would ever forgive me. However, I decided I would tell him the truth about how I really lost my weight anyway. I just liked it when everyone was admiring me. It's not something I'm proud of. Adrian smiled and said that when I was sitting on diets and exercising, I expected the results too quickly and gave up. You've been really active lately. If you keep moving a lot, you'll get back in shape. I thanked him for his advice and I left. I didn't dare ask him for a second chance. The next day, I went to the park to roller skate. I was totally out of practice and I almost fell over, but someone held me up. It was Adrian. Mind some company? Let's go. And Adrian and I grew close again. He not only saw my inner beauty, but helped me see it too. I don't think about the past anymore, deceive anyone, or change anyone who doesn't deserve it. I take care of my health for myself now.